My most sincere apologies for the lack of audio. My lavalier mic went MIA this weekend.
Hey guys, it's Zach from the Southern Ginger Workshop channel, and I just wanted you to know that I am a boomer. A boom!
Now, for those of you that remember, about 3 weeks ago, I made a crosscut sled that you can see here that has a dust collection port on the back, and I knew that I wanted to make some attachments that would go on it and make it very easy to replace some of the jigs that I have. Now, as you can see, a lot of the material that you'll need for this is very, very small. So a lot of the scraps that I had laying around work perfectly. However, you will need to obtain one 4-foot stick of T-track from Rockler. Now, the crosscut sled is going to be the workhorse to make this jig. And why not? It's going to be attached to it. So I first set up a stop block and then hook up my dust collection to the crosscut sled. Then I start by taking off some of the chip out I had on this piece and cutting it exactly square. If you guys are looking for plans for this, you will find them on my website. Now, I'm just making a mark on this corner because I know that the fence on my crosscut sled is exactly square, so that is my 90-degree angle that I will reference from. Next, I just cut all the other pieces that I need according to the measurements on my plan. And let me tell you, having a plan sure did make this cut session go really fast. Now I'm just going to set up the fence and cut everything to the appropriate width. But since the fence is really close, I need a good push block. And if you guys don't have one of these micro jigs, you might want to think about getting one. A little preset, and I can go through cutting everything. Now, if you remember the 90-degree mark that we referenced from, we're going to put it to the side because that's definitely the corner we do not want to cut off. Line one corner up to the back of the fence and the other to the edge of the curve at the front of the sled. Now, using the T-track that's in the sled, just add a couple hold downs. Now I'm just raising the blade up and then making my cut. And here is the finished base. Now take that reference 90-degree corner, put it directly in the center of the curve. Then take a speed square and line it up. Now all that's left is to make marks where the T-track is. Then using the speed square, which is going to be your best friend here, make reference marks that will mark the inside and outside of the T-track on both sides of the curve. Then I also mark a center line where the center of the T-track will lie. Then go up about 2.5 inches and then make a cross mark. That will be where you will need to drill both holes that will line up in the T-track for the T-bolts. Now, using a quick and handy thing I got from Family Handyman, I find the appropriate size, which is 5/16 drill bit, and I just use a brad point in my drill press. Now, to prevent blowout and splintering, I just put a backer block and my stock right on top of that. Then just drill out the hole nice and slow, and then give yourself a little test fit. Perfect. Now, once you have your base installed in the T-track, now comes the point of no return, making the zero clearance kerf so you can begin assembling the jig. Now, since the wings are going to be attached on the jig, I figured I might as well use it to make my 45-degree miter cuts. It's pretty simple, just hold them in place, raise the blade up, and push it through. Do the same thing on the opposite side, so your wings will make an exact 90-degree turn. Now, I just used some DAP rapid fuse glue since it sets very fast, much like super glue. This makes assembling the jig so much faster. Now just tight fit your miter and hold it in place until the glue sets. Then for some added security, I just put in some 1¼ inch finish nails. Next comes the blade guard. Now I'm going to use the speed square to help me out, make a perfect 45-degree miter for these. We're going to set one piece up, run it through the blade once, then take the second piece and do the exact same thing. Next, just cut it to length, then glue the opposing sides with a little bit more rapid fuse glue. This way, on one end you will have a perfect mitered point that will fit perfectly between the two wings. Next comes the stabilizer that will be at the back of the jig. This will create a pass-through for the blade to go from front to back without the jig coming apart. You'll just need two opposing miters that will fit just inside both wings. This is something you might have to sneak up on. Once you have it, glue it and nail it in place. Now, to be able to attach stop blocks on the jig, we want to install some T-track on the top of the wings. Just using the table saw with a high tooth count blade, cut the T-track to the appropriate length and then super glue them in place. Then follow it up with a few screws. Now put it back in place on the crosscut sled and then make your pass-through curve. Now you should have a jig that will give you perfect results on a 45-degree miter each and every time. Now, like I said, material cost for this particular attachment is very, very minimal. The only thing that you'll probably need to spend the money on is the T-track and the T-bolts to attach it to your sled. Other than that, it's pretty much scrap wood. I know that I'm going to have repeated results, and with the use of the hold downs, it's going to make using it that much better. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and as usual, boom!